This week, we'll be going over the Rare Specimen and Rarest Specimen achievements in Black Mesa. These are both going to be achievements where you have to take a purple hat from the beginning of the game and carry it with you to close to the end of the game for the first achievement and all the way to the end for the other one. So we'll go over where you find the hat, where you have to take it, and some tips and tricks for going all the way through there on some of the harder areas. And now, let's get into it. So for this one, you'll need to first find the purple hat in the beginning of the game and carry that with you through most of the game for one achievement, and all the way to the end for the other one. So at the very beginning, when the guard lets you out of your little train, he'll unlock this door that you'll go through. Over to the left of it, there's going to be a few pipes where the hat will be sitting. We can't get to it yet, but just remember this spot because we need to return here later. So then once we get done with the experiment that starts all the events in the game, we'll be in the chapter Unforeseen Consequences. This will be the chapter where we can actually pick up the hat. You'll go through things like normal, but once you get to the lobby area, you would normally go through the vent on your right to proceed through the game, but we're gonna wait to do that, and instead we'll go off to the left, back out to the entrance. You can then do some sick jumps to get over on the pipes, grab the hat, and come back. With the hat in hand, you'll need to carry it with you all the way to the end of Lamb Decor, where you would jump in through the portal to Zen. This will get you the Rare Specimen achievement, and then proceeding through the chapters in Zen, you'll get Rarest Specimen for taking the hat all the way to the end of the game. Of course, trying to carry this hat through the game is not going to be easy. There are a lot of areas where you could lose it, and some areas that require some platforming that can make this frustrating. So rewinding back to when you get the hat, my first and biggest tip for this is going to be to save the game as often as you can. Making quick saves or manual saves to make sure you don't have to replay as much will be huge for you as you go through the game for these two achievements. For the rest of Unforeseen Consequences, there isn't really anything too special to make note of. Just keep running through this and make sure you save often. Once you get to Office Complex, we can actually drop the hat off in most areas, run our way through to make progress, and then come back to pick the hat back up once you unlock the doors. This will be the easiest and quickest way to get through it, and you can skip at least some of the level after this large Vortigaunt fight early on. On the other side of the office where you come in, there's a couch and a ladder on the wall directly behind it. If you go up here with the hat, there are some vents that you can go through to skip ahead and save a little bit of time and frustration. Then further on, definitely make sure you make a save before you jump onto the ladder in the elevator, because the hat tends to get caught on ladders. Then on any of these ladders where you actually have time to take the ladder slowly, you'll want to try to look off to the side at a 45-degree angle or even turn around completely once you're on the ladder to keep it from getting caught. You may also want to save after you get through each section of platforming just in case you end up messing up or have the hat get stuck or glitch out. Going through We've Got Hostiles is pretty straightforward as you would normally. Some areas you can just run past or take it slow, drop the hat and kill the enemies, then come back for it and keep moving forward. Once you get to the open area where you have to go to the bunker, you can essentially just sprint to the bunker with the hat and drop down into it and keep moving through. Then once you're at the rocket area of Blast Pit with the giant tentacle monster, you'll want to leave the hat either in the room with the button where you'll eventually come back to blast the monster to kill it, or you could even leave it in the middle of the silo with the tentacles on one of the different levels. Because after you kill the monster, the hat will still just be sitting there on whichever floor you left it on, and you can pick it up after. Just be sure not to leave it behind one of the doors, as they will all shut and be locked. You won't be able to open them once you get to the point where you kill the monster. So the best place is going to be right there with the button where you activate the rocket. On power up, you'll really just need to make sure that you keep track of the hat and don't lose it. At the part where you have to use the electricity to kill the giant creature, you can leave the hat in multiple different spots of this large area. I ended up leaving it by the button that you press to finally kill it. Then on the rail carts, just make sure you have a lot of saves and hold onto the hat anytime you can. This part can get a little frustrating because when you try to grab the hat, sometimes you accidentally grab the controls, so a lot of saves here will help you out a lot. That's also going to carry on with the on a rail and apprehension levels as well. Then speaking of apprehension, make sure you remember to carry the hat with you when you get ambushed in the dark room. Then of course, after that happens, you'll wake up and the hat's going to be sitting on a ledge right above you. Just keep going through residue processing, nothing too special going on there. And then once you get to questionable ethics, you'll eventually come out to this lobby area. Just drop the hat somewhere in here because we're going to come back for it later. The end of this chapter is you come back here, fight a few waves of enemies, so leaving it here will be just fine. On surface tension, you can actually leave the hat here next to the shack as you'll be returning here later in the chapter. I personally forgot about that and took the hat with me through the level, but feel free to leave the hat here as a way to make this chapter a little bit easier to get through. Then once you get to Lambda Core, you can leave the hat here in this middle area, as you'll be running around the level getting each pump back online, and then you have to run back through here anyway. Once that's done, you'll eventually get to the teleporter platforming part, which can be a little bit frustrating trying to get the hat through this. I would say just make sure you make saves as you get to each platform, and you should be able to get through this fairly easily. Then at the actual reactor core, you're going to have to run around for a while until the portal opens. You can then jump through to get the Rarest Specimen achievement. And now we'll be in Zen, and you won't have the hat with you anymore. It was, however, teleported to Zen. It's just going to be in a different place on the map, so we'll have to go find it to get the Rarest Specimen achievement. That's the one for bringing the hat even further into the endgame. So to grab the hat, you'll come over here in Zen, and it'll be waiting for you next to this dead body in a small cave. This is right past the first little energy crystal generator thing that recharges your shields. From here, you'll carry the hat with you through Zen like normal. Of course, just keep making saves as you can to make sure you don't lose the hat at any point. And you'll eventually get to the big portal control room near the end of Zen. You can leave the hat here in the main control room as you come back to activate it. Then of course, once that's done, you'll activate the machine and pick up the hat to jump through that portal. Now on Gonarch's lair, you'll mainly run through this like normal. At the part where you have to fill up a very large cave with water multiple times, you can leave it in the middle and just let it float up with you as you go through each section. Just be sure to check on it after each one, as sometimes it'll get stuck and just sit there in the water instead of floating, so you have to pick it up and make it float again. Then at the very end of the chapter, you need to be very careful and try to keep track of the hat as you fight the Gonarch. This can be pretty hard to do, and I had to go through multiple times because the hat kept disappearing, but there will be debris scattered everywhere, making it very hard to find the hat as you go through each section. You'll also want to make sure that you save after each section of the fight once you find the hat, so that you can make sure if you lose it during the next section, you just reload back to that last one and then try again. Then we'll finally be at the chapter Interloper, where you'll be doing a lot of running around. In this large area with all the pumps that you have to fix, you can take it with you to each section, or just leave it here and come back after you finish these pumps and are ready to move forward. The rest of this is all pretty self-explanatory, just go through it as you would normally, but bring the hat with you. As you're doing each of the little puzzles at each section, just leave the hat outside of it, and when you're running down the conveyor belts, make sure you bring the hat with you. And once we get through with that fight, we'll just jump through with the hat to get the Rarest Specimen achievement. At this point, we can move on to fight Nihilanth, and also a secret ending scene.
Gordon Freeman in the flesh. Or rather, in the hazard suit. I took the liberty of relieving you of your weapons.
And that's about it for these two purple hat related achievements in Black Mesa. And of course, we have YouTube memberships now, so if you want to support the channel further, get access to custom emotes to use in the comments, and have your name featured in a credit section at the end of the videos, go ahead and join that now. And as always, if you liked the video or found it helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below with what games you'd like me to cover next.